Mercury and Venus.
Yes.
V&B, coffee.
Here we are. And we have a different topic today.
Yeah.
Let's see. You want to choose it?
Yes. What could it be?
What could it be?
Okay. Ooh, it's a good one. How do you deal with rejection?
Oh, okay. Very common topic.
Yes.
I think we can probably both relate to that one.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe you guys can too. I don't know. I'd like to hear how y'all deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
It's probably, the biggest thing that everyone deals with in this industry. Probably 99% of the time.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah. So how, so when you get, what is rejection to you?
When I don't get the part.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
Especially, when you go in there and you feel like you did a really good job, or you get really, I think the toughest thing for me, it's interesting that you asked me that, because my reaction is just to say, oh, when you don't get the part, but it's really when I get, really great feedback from, if the director's in the room, or the casting director, and they're like, oh, you did this so well. That was so natural. That was a really great,
which is a big deal because they so rarely compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they're, stone cold.
Yeah.
And it's tough. But I think it's in those times and those moments when I get that feedback, and then you walk out and oh, I did a good job. Maybe, because, and then you don't
get your
get
hopes
it.
up.
Yeah, it gets your hopes up, and then that can be a little bit tough.
Mm-hmm.
But, I understand and know that that's just the business.
Yeah.
But it's still tough.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like it's one of those things where you have to deal with rejection if you ever want to deal with acceptance, or whatever you want to say the reverse of rejection is, because you're not going to get every role you go out for.
Right.
That's something you kind of have to come to terms with in the very beginning. I think that's something I was okay with going into it. I'm not going to book every role. And at the same time, the reasons for not booking it are so, they're just something you can't control. They don't look like they'd be actual best friends, so we're not going to cast them together. Or they're the same skin color, so let's create some diversity. Or, it's just stuff that you can't change. So to me, rejection is also the same, not getting the part, but it doesn't hurt my feelings or anything. Even though I love to book every role I go out for, it doesn't hurt my feelings, because I feel like I'm just going to do the best I can, and that's that. And it doesn't say anything about who I am as a person.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of times that's where actors get confused. Is oh, if they didn't say yes to me, then there's something wrong with me. And it's no, you're fine. You're great.
Yeah.
Just not what they're looking for.
Yeah. And I think it's just I'm trying to focus on being proud of myself, even for the callbacks.
Yeah.
Whether I book it or not. It's well, you know what? I'm one step closer.
Yeah.
I got one step closer. And, I'm obviously doing something right. To have made it, to, the top 10 or so, or whatever it might be. And just trying to be happy in those small victories.
Because actually, for those of you who aren't very familiar with acting, you go to the audition. If they like you at the audition, they bring you for the callback. If they like you at the callback, then you probably book the role. But the callback is where they just bring back a few people. And so it's that moment where you're like, oh, I'm so close. And then you just might not get it.
Right.
Which has happened. And it's okay, because it's really good to get a callback, even if you don't book it in the end. It's so good to get a callback. It says a lot about how you perform. And like we were talking about earlier, if you don't get the actual role, it's probably something very tiny as to why not. Yeah. Maybe you're just an inch taller than the whoever. And they just won't look right on camera. Who knows?
And I just so appreciate, I feel like you always encourage me in that way. If I get a callback or something, you're like, that's so great. Good job, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, it is.
Celebrate the small victories.
Right, yeah. So I just appreciate that.
Yeah.
So thanks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's one thing that could really tear actors down, is all the no's that are going to come along with acting. Mm-hmm. And there's so many no's. If you actually kept track of all the auditions you went on and all the bookings that you got from those, if you're 100%, kudos to you.
Yeah.
That's going to be so hard.
Oh, gosh.
But, I don't know. It's just part of the game.
I know. It's It is, I mean, I think maybe because I got into acting at a young age, I feel like I don't take it personally.
Good. Yeah.
But if sometimes I worry about people, that they'll take it as a direct, what's the word? Yeah, like of themselves.
Yeah.
I get worried. Like, I just don't want them to be constantly like torn down by not, like, you just have to go into it with your eyes open, understanding that you're not going to book most of the things you go out for, and yeah, just not to take it so personally.
Yeah. Also, I feel like one of the things that also comes along with it is, like we talked about in another video, if this is what God's called you to do, even though doors feel like they get slammed in your face, it's going to be okay because you know that this is where you're supposed to be. But if you're pushing it, if you're trying to make it happen on your own, that rejection is going to hurt a lot more, because then you really are going to question, like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing the right thing? And should I quit? Should I not? It's just totally different. When you know this is where you're supposed to be, rejection isn't, I don't know, it's not as devastating maybe.
Right. I just kind of take it as that's not what the Lord had for me right now. And he has something else and something better.
Which is always great. Like, honestly, I feel like that's kind of what gets me through a lot of stuff. Is like, okay, well, I almost landed this PGA Superstore commercial, but there's a reason why I didn't. Maybe it would have conflicted with who knows what in the future, and maybe something better is coming in the future. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I had an audition for something, and I didn't have a full, clear understanding of what it was for, and I went in, and it wasn't, they didn't ask me to do anything that I would be uncomfortable with, because I would just not do it. But I just had a sense that, like, I just didn't feel right about it. And it was nothing inappropriate that they asked me to do, but I think it was just, like, the spirit, kind of telling me, like, I don't know if this is not for you, basically. And I walked out, and the guy was like, he, like, stopped me after my audition. He said to me, he's like, you did a really great job. That was so natural. Yay. And I was like, thanks. And I walked out thinking, I don't want to get that. I hope I don't get that. Something didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of found out afterwards, like, when I looked a little closer, I was like, ooh, it was for some other religious affiliation thing that I would not have been personally comfortable doing.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have been for me. So it was kind of weird to, like, find myself being like, oh, I hope I don't get this.
Yeah.
Like, when does that happen?
I know.
And I didn't. By the grace of God, because I would have had to have said no.
And that's good. And that's, like, something else that we need to talk about too, is, like, can you say no? When should you say no?
Yeah. Okay,
and
that's another video.
No, but it's
yes.
It goes in line with all this, like, feeling rejected and actually rejecting them. I mean, because you can be, like, offered a role, and once you read the entire script, like, I'm sorry, this just kind of isn't my thing. Are you guys willing to change the wording?
And you've had that happen to you.
Yeah, there's been
stories.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time too. It's hard because there's so much.
There's so much.
And, like, today, I just got, right before I came over to Brittany's, I was at a Gold's Gym audition, and I'm hoping that I get it, but there were so many people there that, who knows? It's one of those things where if I don't get it, sure, it's considered rejection, but I don't feel beat down because of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's totally different if, like, this is the thread that you're hanging on to for financial reasons, and you need to book this job because it pays big bucks, and there's, like, that whole thing. Then rejection hits a lot harder, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if you're depending on it as your livelihood and to put food on the table, I mean, the pressure is a lot.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah. So have a plan in mind.
Yeah. you know? And know that God's got his best for you. Yeah. So if you're rejected or whatever, it's going to happen in every industry. But in this one, you put yourself out there so much that you're inevitably going to be.
Right.
So, but, just trust that God is doing the right thing and he's writing your story.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be good.
I love it. So encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
That was good.
We'd love to hear what you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah.
If something pops into your head, email us.
That would be great. We would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Loved having coffee with you.